everybody, it's the HooperCast, or the Hooper Show, or the Dustin and Hooper Show, or Dustin and Hooper at the movies, or just
There's too many names.
Too many names. Too many.
You could call us anything, and we'd answer to it.
Yeah, man. But it is Dustin and Connor for sure. Here on YouTube, or maybe on SoundCloud if you're listening to the audio. Things are a tad different on the channel lately. The first thing being I forgot to start my timer, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now so I can keep track of how long we've been going. But
right.
So yeah, obviously if you're seeing us on video right now, you are on YouTube. Congratulations, you made it. And there is an audio version of our show on SoundCloud as well. That SoundCloud page is, by the way, if I were to share it with you, it would be soundcloud.com/mrhooper-1. We are reinvigorating the SoundCloud page. So it means something again. So yeah. Yeah. So Dustin and I are sort of, our schedule is we're going to update you on an upload schedule. We're going to start doing 2 video shows a week on this channel. It's going to be Wednesdays and Fridays. And so that's the days you ought to check to see if we have uploads, or just subscribe to the channel. You could do that too. And if you are on SoundCloud and you know what the channel is, it is just HooperCast on YouTube. Capital H, capital C. And yeah, real easy to find. You got our full show there. You got the kid pick if you like, watching my daughter outsmart me. And yeah, good stuff. Good stuff on the channel, including this show. And then if you're, of course, watching on YouTube, you're getting this video show right now. But if you want to watch it on the go, if you're not a YouTube Red subscriber and you want to listen to the show on the go, you can go to the SoundCloud page. And we don't like to say that there's not that much difference between the two shows, but video is always nice to watch, but you'd be just fine with the audio if you're, if you're on the go, you don't have time to watch. We get it. We understand. Oh, and
we do.
You will still get the quick pick, the weekend quick pick, on SoundCloud also. That's SoundCloud only. There's no, we don't shoot video for the quick pick. So
nah.
Yeah, there's no point.
Also, anybody who's watching me right now, which Hooper, you will watch me in a little while when you edit this, my computer did just randomly break. It like snapped and the monitor fell forward. And so here I am like trying to figure out how to prop the monitor up now. So it's going to be a lot of fun when you see this footage and you see like the scared deer in headlights look on my face.
The entire time.
And for all of you who are watching, you just saw like a nicely framed shot of me just fall. And then I was like, what? And there's a snap, like an audible snap. So I don't know. My computer is literally dying and falling apart.
That's not good, Dustin.
Thank you for your quality product, Apple.
Well, there goes another sponsor. Along with,
brought to you by Bojangles.
Along with Comcast and AT&T.
Yes.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about some film news with you guys. Today, obviously, if you listen to what I just said, this ought to be Wednesday, February 7th. So Super Bowl just happened. A few things movie-wise always happen during the Super Bowl for those who are not interested or equally interested in the game. As with the movies, Dustin and I, of course, and lots of movie lovers tend to know that lots of good trailers come out around the Super Bowl, commercials and all that junk. So one thing I thought was interesting was the next Cloverfield movie, anthology film, was released by Netflix on Super Bowl Sunday or after Super Bowl Sunday. So now I'm like really excited to watch that. I didn't get a chance to watch it before we taped this.
Me neither, but I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it too. So we'll probably have some thoughts on that. But that's really cool. It's a sneak attack. But the other big thing was the trailer for the Han Solo film called Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So, Dustin and I have talked. I wouldn't say at length, but we've both expressed our thoughts that this is not really the kind of thing we wanted, the direction we wanted these movies to go when Disney bought the property.
Not at all.
I'm not really that excited to see this film. Although after I saw this trailer, I must admit, it was fine. Like I saw it and I was like, okay, looks like some exciting visuals, but I was about to say some fun characters. But here's my problem with this trailer, Dustin. I'm sure you'll agree. I find I didn't look up his name. That's how little I care. The actor who's playing Han Solo, I found him like utterly uncompelling. It's just a trailer, but like he seems to have like zero personality. And I found myself at the end of the trailer going, I want to see that, but not for the main character or most of the side characters. I want to see space battles and Lando Calrissian, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the only time I was watching the trailer and I got like a little flutter like of excitement was when they showed Donald Glover. I was like, Lando, and that was it.
Yeah, me too. Well, that and Woody Harrelson.
No.
Really? No, I love Woody Harrelson. I'll see.
Sick of that guy, man.
Oh man. All right. Well, no, I agree. So I feel like Lando is the better character to do an anthology film on, because Han Solo has obviously. I think Han Solo is a better character. Don't get me wrong, but I think Han Solo has so been defined by the actor who plays him.
Yes.
That when you remove Harrison Ford from the equation, you no longer have a compelling reason for me to watch. However, I don't believe that Billy D. Williams did the same with Lando. He was great and Lando was great, but you don't really spend a lot of time with Lando, so you feel like there's more you could mine out of that character.
Yeah.
And then and it's not as tied to the actor who portrayed him. And that may be partially because, Harrison Ford is such a big star, but regardless, I feel like Lando was sort of, you're right, more interesting in this trailer than anything else.
Well, and I also think that, I sit here and think it's still hard for me to have a really clear set of rules when it comes to, does the story need to be told? But yeah. I definitely, with this one, I go, okay, well, so this is someone who we've seen have a character arc of a sort. Certainly over 3 films, we saw Han Solo grow, and become, a little more selfless. And we saw, The Force Awakens. So to me, it's like, all right, so you're gonna show a prequel where this guy starts off. I don't know what his arc is. They're not going to just put that in the film. Well, they ought to put that in the trailer. That'd be nice. But I sit here and think all right, well, what change am I going to witness in him? He's like, is he even worse of a scoundrel in this film? And then at the end of it, he's still kind of like a selfish prick. Right. There's nothing in the character. That's the problem with prequels. It's outside of everything else, all the baggage that comes with it, all the Harrison Ford, all of that, what it still comes down to is this is a person, though, who at best is a likable, smug asshole by the end of all this. But that's not the tone they're striking. It's not like a black comedy. It's a straight comedy.
Right. Exactly.
And he's supposed to be likable. And so I'm looking at this no, this is already me sensing a flaw in this. From a structural standpoint, at least. But yeah, 100%. You're right with Lando, though. That guy, so he comes out, so maybe he's kind of like Han, but think of it, at the beginning of Empire, that guy's, he's steeped in the Empire and everything, but kind of against his will. But that dude runs a city in the clouds. That's pretty amazing. So that'd be interesting to see where that guy starts out, and then by the end of his story, it's hey, I'm whatever he is, mayor, king, whatever, Cloud City. Founder of Cloud City. That's pretty cool. There's obviously, you don't have to do a movie where Darth Vader shows up. Of course, although Kathleen Kennedy would be we have to show when Vader shows up and takes over. It's but that's not a happy ending. So why don't we just have the looming threat at the end of a happy ending? Yes. Let him have his arc, and remind people, by the way, after this, the Empire comes in and shakes him down. And you know what happens next. You can fill that blank in. Okay, they came in, they had a battle, he lost, he caved.
Right.
But there's no need for this story, in my opinion, at least.
No, absolutely not. And I think the case in point is where you just hit the nail on the head, right? there's no arc that they can tell here that adds anything of meaning to what we've seen already. There's nothing they can do. Like, what are they going to do? Have him like fall in love with Emilia Clarke, and then it's like, oh, but then she dies, so he becomes like, oh, he's a scoundrel now because he doesn't trust women.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, but that doesn't, like, I don't care.
It was so much more interesting for him, like, encountering Leia and having not encountered like a strong woman before. That was so much more interesting. Is like being like, oh yeah, I've met girls like you, and she's like, no, you haven't, and he's like, oh no, I haven't.
You're right, I haven't. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, there's just nothing they can do here that I feel like is going to make me look at Harrison Ford's performance and go, wow, he's playing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the main thing, is these movies are told so far apart. There's no way that what they're doing is something that George and Harrison intended. And so because of that, we can't then like turn on A New Hope and see whatever happens in Solo in Harrison Ford's performance, because this wasn't a thing. And Harrison didn't do like all of this backstory stuff for Han that would match up with what Solo, the Star Wars story, is going to be.
Right.
So there's just no way that it's going to inform Harrison's performance, and it's not going to make me love Harrison Ford more. If anything, all it's going to do is just make me go, oh, I miss Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And then when I watch the Harrison Ford thing, say, oh, now I have to forget all that junk I watched, that fan film.
Yeah. And going back to what I was saying earlier about does this story need to be told, I sit here and think, and our new rating system has something to do with this school of thought from my head, in which, so see if you can follow me making this connection here. But so for some people, it's like, should this story be told? And the answer is no. But they're not thinking about should the story be told. They're just thinking, could it be told? Well, yeah, any story can be told, but
you were so busy thinking about if you could,
right,
you didn't stop to think about if you should.
Right. Like, so, we'll actually go over the rating system in a minute because people don't know about that yet. But my initial thought is like, most movies I watch hit some sort of mark because they have a beginning, middle, and end. So it's very easy to reach a mid bar with me for your film because you gave me a finished film in most cases. Right. So I'm sure this will look like a complete film. How could it not be with hundreds of thousands of people working on it? So obviously it's gonna, it would have to massively fail for people to come out of it and go, that was a pile of crap. But in terms of, I feel like especially these days where movies can be, we've seen how good movies can be these days, and we've seen how mediocre they can be. The market has done both. Has had both effects on films. So these days with TV and everything, like, back in the day at 3 networks, there's, so everyone, you had like a dozen choices of shows to watch, and now you have so many choices. It's like, the bar now is no longer, this is entertaining for an hour. The bar has to be, this is excellent and explorative, and this teaches me about myself, and this inspires me or something. There has to be a lot more to art now, at least for me to go, this is worth my time and my money. And Solo, a Star Wars story, doesn't fit that mold. And say what you will again about the Marvel films, like, again, like I know that I'm very obviously in the Marvel camp, but I realized why I like those films so much. We were on a vacation over the weekend, the last weekend, and we went on a cruise. Okay, so we went on a Disney cruise. I don't want to talk about that on the show because it's not really that relevant. But we saw a show. And it was the Golden Mickeys, and at some point they had this tiny little montage. It was like a tribute to the heroes, and it was like this really well put together, like every heroic moment in Pixar, like shown right there. And this sounds stupid now that I'm saying it, but I cried. It's one of those, I don't want to be like, and I teared up. It's like, well, I did, because I realized, like, watching that, I was just like, I sort of understood it now. Like, this stuff inspires me. That heroics inspire me, to a profound degree. That's why I watch, United 93 every year, or 9/11. It's all that stuff. So anyway, the whole point of all this is like, films, even films of a broad appeal, can have a special meaning for you. So if you're looking for, a mediocre Han Solo film, ta-da! But, I'm looking for more than that out of movies, and that's why I refuse to accept Rogue One as someone, refuse to concede that it's a good film. And, so far this isn't that impressive of a trailer. It's just, okay, this will have some new some new space sequences, and I'm always game for that. But I'm less distracted by that nowadays. Like, I'm finally snapping myself out of it and going like, I like this, but you still show me nothing with this character.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I just don't think this is a story that I'm interested in, or that, like I said, could add anything to anything. It's a non-story. It's equivalent to Rogue One, where it's like, if this needed to be told, it would have been told, and it doesn't need to be told. The only reason it's being told is because either a studio is money hungry, or there's fans who can't let anything go.
People, yeah, well, it's this thing. I mean, I guess, and I hate to do this too, but this probably should be the final point on this. But I think that people mistake, now we've seen that story. Now we know for a fact what happened in his past. It's like, there's a difference between okay, Bella Swan, Twilight. She has no character. And then they tried to say the whole point is that she's supposed to be an avatar for you. You're supposed to fill her with character traits. And it's like, no, that's your job as a writer to give her a character and to make her accessible to me. You don't just give me a blank slate. That's lazy, and your character has no personality. So you might want to, you might try to apply that logic to this, like, oh, well, okay, so the backstory of Han Solo, we should just project, our assumptions about what his childhood was like, or his adolescence or young adulthood was like, without actually seeing it. And it's like, you could say that, except if you were an idiot, you would say that, because the difference here is you're showing me something that doesn't have to be actually shown on film. Character has to be on display. Always. It really should be. A particular story or backstory doesn't necessarily. And to what end? To the end that he gets to where we know he goes to, and then he has a more meaningful arc when he's played by a better actor. Yeah. Like, why is this an essential piece of the puzzle? And it's not. It's not.
It's not. The things that they're going to show us, we don't need to be shown, because, like you said, the screenwriter, said, okay, how do we show that Han is cocky? How do we show that his ship is fast? We have him do a throwaway line, like she made the Kessel Run in whatever parsecs, and it's just a throwaway line. And now they're going to try to build a whole story around that,
they're going to
show us what that is. Yeah. But I don't care.
Yeah.
That line did its job. The job was to tell me that he's cocky and that his ship is fast, and the line did its job. I don't have to have more information than that. That's all the information I need.
That's not a building block for a story that some writer 40 years later can grasp onto.
Right. Or how Han met Chewie. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that they're together now.
Yeah. No,
it doesn't matter.
I asked some people on Facebook before we were recording. I was just like, does anyone have any thoughts on this? And everyone kind of seems to agree. Someone said it looks like the Fast and the Furious in space. Nothing about it comes off as striking or having a bold stance to go, here I am. He says Rogue One had such a teaser. Now, you and I would agree. We loved the Rogue One trailers.
Yes.
That's why we were so disappointed, because those trailers looked really promising.
Yeah.
But and someone else said, I have a really difficult time accepting anyone other than Harrison Ford as Han Solo. And that's the same thing. That's what you said. Yeah. It's too tied to Harrison Ford. I almost said Han Solo because they're synonymous.
They're so synonymous.
Yeah. All right. Well, we went a little over, but let's talk a little bit about Jurassic World. The Fallen Kingdom. Is that it?
Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, so I saw this trailer too, as well for the Super Bowl. Yeah. It looks like we've got another genetically altered dinosaur as the big bad.
Yeah, look, I mean, I love the Jurassic Park movies. I always have. I even love The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. I think, they're obviously way lesser than the original, which to me is sort of a masterpiece. But whatever, I like them and I can watch them and that's fine. Jurassic World was fine. I didn't hate it. I know a lot of people did. I thought it was fine. But with this, like, I get this really like sci-fi movie, like the channel sci-fi, sci-fi-esque quality level here, because it's like, here's the thing. The thing about Jurassic Park was it's scary because it feels like it could be real, right? Like if you applied science to doing something that shouldn't be done, you get this nasty result, and then you pay the price for what you've done. Like that was Jurassic Park.
Yes.
And it's scary enough that your life is in danger because there's an animal that you can't tame that is wild and after you.
Yes.
Like that's all you need. And then what this movie's doing is like, oh, and there's a volcano and everything's exploding and you have to run off a cliff. And if you're land in the water, who's to say a brontosaurus won't land, or an apatosaurus won't land on top of you? Like, sure, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's all of this like set piece stuff. And don't get me wrong, the first one had plenty of set pieces.
Wasn't there a big, I'm sorry, I totally cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's a stupid throwaway joke, and I'm not going to do that to you again. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No. So all I'm saying is like they're adding in all this set piece stuff, and whatever. I don't mind the idea that maybe Chris Pratt can tame a velociraptor. I think it's stupid, but that's the least of my concerns. What I'm concerned with is that it's like they say, oh, T-Rex chasing you, velociraptor chasing you, that's not enough to scare audiences anymore. We also have to have explosions and volcanoes, and now we have to have genetically altered dinosaurs who are super smart and sneak into little girls' bedrooms. And it's like, no, this isn't Freddy Krueger, this isn't, whatever. This is a dinosaur. Yeah. And to me, it makes no sense to take them out of their habitat. The thing is, The Lost World, for all of its flaws, took place on an island, and the story went that they took the dinosaur from the island to the mainland because they're still misguided, scientists and, people that are trying to make attractions and make money off these things. Now, I don't understand how this dinosaur gets into a girl's bedroom and whatever, maybe it's whatever. But that's a different movie. That's not Jurassic Park anymore. Yeah. And I know they did it in The Lost World, but what I'm saying is, you gotta fault this because it's already been done. They did it in The Lost World. So you can't say like, oh, you hate it because whatever, but look, Lost World did it. And it's like, yes, but it's already been done. Like that's one of the points is why do it again? And the second thing is it arguably didn't work the first time. The Lost World is a weak film because part of it takes place in San Francisco or wherever it was, San Diego. I don't know where it was, wherever it was. It took place there, and it wasn't on an island. And so to me, the problem is you gotta have people going into the habitat of the dinosaurs and being hunted by the dinosaurs because the people think they're at the top of the food chain, but they're not.
Right.
And so you have to have this level of like human arrogance to think it can take on, whatever nature throws at us, and have that thrown back in our face to say, no, you can't handle this. Nature is more powerful than you.
Yeah.
And that's where the story of Jurassic Park comes from. That's why it's compelling. That's why it's, stood the test of time. But when you have stuff like this where they don't believe dinosaurs are scary, so they have to add volcanoes, and they don't believe, I don't know, like that a velociraptor is scary enough, you have to have a genetically altered velociraptor.
Right.
I just don't understand what this is. This is not Jurassic Park. This may be a decent dinosaur movie, but it's not Jurassic Park.
I half expected when they're jumping off the end of the cliff, and they're all falling in the water, and the dinosaurs are hitting the water. I was just like, all right, when's Tony Stark's house going to fall into this
yes,
river?
It's the same thing.
It was so interesting.
Right.
It's like you see large object after large object hit the water. I'm just waiting for an Audi to slam into Chris Pratt.
But there again, even the falling off the cliff, they did that in The Lost World.
Yeah.
Right? They had the giant RV that was dangling over the cliff and then it fell and, whatever.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
It's all been done before.
Okay, so
it's all been done before.
I haven't actually seen The Lost World.
But the cliff it was done in The Lost World, and bringing dinosaurs off the island, into civilization was done in The Lost World. So I'm just like, I just don't understand why you guys can't come up with something new. And if you can't come up with something new, there's really nothing wrong with repeating the formula with new characters that are compelling. Like, that's why the first one worked. It wasn't because this was some new idea that, like, humans are being hunted by animals. Those movies have been done to death. The difference was the characters mattered. And the story was compelling. So do that again. There's no shame in it of just coming up with some, hackneyed reason why people end up on the island and then develop their characters over the course of this trying scenario. It's fine with me.
Well, let's close this one out, Dustin. But those are a couple of films where I was just like, okay, well, maybe I can skip these. Thank God, in a way, like I'm free.
Right. I know, right?
All right. Well, if you liked the episode, check us out again on Friday. And again, if you listen on SoundCloud, check out the YouTube channel because it's pretty awesome. If I do say so myself.
It is.
All right. Well, until Friday. Goodbye, Dustin.
Goodbye, Hooper.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Yes.
Bye.